What's going on today, guys? This is Justin with TheDigitalLife, and today I wanted to do a what's in my tech bag video, kind of show you guys what I use on a day-to-day basis. But let's get right into it. My tech bag is basically what I use every single day. Like, what do I bring around? Most of this stuff is going to be stuff that you can pretty much get a good range of. Pricing-wise is going to be anywhere from $150 to $1,000 because I do bring around a MacBook wherever I go. I do use the MacBook Air, which is going to be this guy. I keep it in the box just because I don't have a case for it yet. But for me, guys, the MacBook Air helps me to kind of have portability, but also have good battery life. I have the M1 chip, so the battery life and performance on that is actually pretty outstanding. For me, being able to go to a coffee shop or kind of do whatever I'd like to do on my laptop is kind of a big deal for me. So that's what I'd like to use. The MacBook Air is available right now with the education discount for $900. So if you're a student or a teacher, or I believe if you've been a student or a teacher before, you can actually still get that discount. You just have to put in where you go to school, and then they'll kind of add that onto your cart. The next thing is, guys, what I do use on a pretty much almost day-to-day basis is going to be the Sony I believe 1000s. I will put a link in the video to these headphones. The reason why I like these headphones, guys, is because these headphones are actually fairly inexpensive. I got these for like $160, $130, and that was on a sale. Right now, I think they're back up to $200. They're not exactly uncomfortable, really. They're actually fairly comfortable. They have noise canceling, but I will tell you it's not very good. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably put it at like a 5 or a 6, which implies that it's kind of just decent. The sound quality is actually really good for me. They're comfortable. I can wear them a pretty long time. And these are kind of just available at Best Buy or whatever. If you're someone who just kind of likes to have something that looks fairly good, I don't think they look horrible. But I don't think they're going to be anything like Beats or the Bose look. They are fairly lightweight, which means that wearing these for long periods of time is not going to be a huge issue. For me, what sold me was the price. And the noise canceling, it's decent, but it's like if you go to a coffee shop and you got your music all the way up or even 75%, that's going to do the job. The noise canceling probably just isn't going to really get rid of a complete plain noise, or it's not going to be good enough to where you can wear them without music and be able to focus. You might be able to. I'd give them a shot, but I just didn't think the noise canceling was like that great. I would go for the $350 ones, which I'd have to put that model in the description because I don't own those. These are my favorite headphones so far just because they were cheap, they get the job done, and they sound good. And they also take calls, which means I can do one of these, which kind of looks silly, but it gets the job done. So wirelessly, Bluetooth, and you can also put them via aux if the battery runs out, which I believe these are 40 hours of battery, which from what I've noticed, if these run out of power, you're in trouble because they last kind of forever. So that's not too bad, guys. The next thing I do use on a daily basis, if not more than a daily basis, is going to be, that sounds funny, but like I use these all the time, is going to be AirPods Pro. So if you're anybody who wants to get a pair of earphones that kind of functions as an all-around, kind of, you can keep them in your ear whenever you want. People actually use these at retail stores who work in technology. The AirPods Pro is going to be the best bet. The battery life isn't great. It's 4.5 hours, which I've noticed that as long as you really just kind of keep them in the case and the case is charged, you're not going to have any issues with the charger, with the earphones dying. The reason for that's going to be that it's just when you put them in the battery case, you kind of just forget that they're there, and then when you take them out, they're fully charged. I've noticed sometimes I'll just put them down and forget to put them in here, and then that's when they're dead. The AirPods Pro have the transparency mode. I did an AirPods review. You can go to my channel, TheDigitalLife, and you can see that. But the transparency mode is the biggest deal, which basically means you put them in your ear, but the technology will allow it so you can hear what's going on in the world. So if you're handling a client or doing whatever you're going to do, they're good for that. They also do have noise canceling, which you can switch back and forth. So for me, if you're in an office, you're in a crowded space, and you just want to focus, the noise canceling on those is going to be better. Better than the Sony headphones. So for these, you're looking at probably a 7 or an 8 for earphones. These always kind of are on sale, I've seen most of the time. The news kind of just says that they're on sale. for $200. I'm not sure. I think that's probably because they're coming out with new ones. That might just be the rumor. But for me personally, I would go ahead and get the AirPods. It comes with a few other ear tips, so if your ears don't work with the ones that comes with this, it's not a big deal. Also, it is wireless charging, so if you have a job or something where you can just put them down, it just makes these headphones more attractive to the average consumer. I would say that these are kind of a no-brainer if you're looking for a new pair of earphones. They're also kind of slick looking. I think that they're nice. So for me personally, these are in my tech bag. It's about the size, guys, of a this is a coaster, like for your drink. That's not a good comparison. I would say that they are the size of, well, these are the PowerBeats Pros, and they're half the size of that. I don't have the original AirPods, but for me, oh, this is a good example. So this is the MacBook Air 30-watt charger, and this is how big they are. So it's going to be fairly similar, but I would say in real life, these are a lot better in your pocket than the PowerBeats Pros. But I'll get into that in just a second, why I have those on me on a daily basis. Is that these guys in your back pocket really don't seem like they're there, but I wouldn't put them in your back pocket, because then when you sit down and smush these, now you got to pay another $250, $200, and that is no good. Sound quality on these guys is going to basically impress any average consumer. If you're some audiophile who likes $4,000 speakers, I would probably get something better than this. But I think these are fairly good for the price and for what they offer you. The next, guys, is going to be the PowerBeats Pros. You're going to say, why do you carry two earphones around? Well, it's actually kind of an easy question for me to answer. These are both two different kinds of earphones. You have a workout headphone and a versatile, basically daily hybrid. Is a stretch, but you could call these a hybrid. So these are noise canceling. I would not say these are great for running. I've tried running. They stay in my ear fairly well, but not as good as these. So the PowerBeats Pros, guys, are going to be your headphone for exercise. So this is not a case that you want to carry around all day. If you don't believe me from the video, go into Best Buy and just look at how big this is. It's kind of a chunky one. This is a coaster, and this is how big it is. Now, that might not seem like it's too big, but for day-to-day basis, I put this in my backpack, and I basically just carry it around. The reason why I do, though, is because I'm the kind of guy where I kind of like to exercise at random times, which sounds weird, but I might just get a wild hair and be like, okay, I'm going to go for a run for 20 minutes. And these are definitely way better for exercising. They have more bass. I think they go a little bit louder, but it's more that these kind of have the ability to pump me up. The other thing is to consider, guys, these have the volume controls on the earphones, which is absolutely a game changer for me. It sounds silly, but when I'm running, I like to be able to go and just turn the volume up or down on the earphone. These do not have that. The AirPods do not have that. You have to use your watch or your phone. So if you really get into a song, you're running your hardest, and you're just like, you don't have to mess with anything else. It makes it so much easier to do that. So I like the PowerBeats for that purpose. These come in a few different colors. These come in only white. Basically, if you're someone who wants something for exercise really only, phone calls, and a longer battery life, these have an 7-hour battery life, 8, which I've noticed I've almost never had these really die. The other thing these do have is quick fuel. You can put them in here for 15 minutes and you get 30 minutes of listening, which I found is absolutely true. These things charge, it's almost stupid. I've plugged them in for I've put the earphones in here for 15 minutes and it gets up to 30 or 40%, which is actually super helpful, because if you're really in the mood for a run and you're like, these are dead, what do I do? Plug them in for just a second and then you'll be all set. So for me personally, guys, I would say these are for workouts. If you're somebody who wants to pick between both of these, like I only got $200 or $250, what do I do? Personally, if you're not a huge workout fitness person, I would go with these guys. You can find some ear tips that'll probably work for you, and these do the job just fine for exercise if they're not coming out of your ears. These I would say are kind of just for more of a fitness guru. The sound is pretty good. There is a lot of bass because it is the Beats logo. But I would say if you're overall deciding on one, I'd go for the AirPods. I will say that I have had these fixed once. So I sent them in it took 2 weeks round trip for them to come back to me, and they were fixed. One of them wouldn't charge, and I sent them in. So the customer service is not too bad on these guys. And then finally, the last but not least, so on a daily basis, guys, I do use my Apple Watch. For me personally, I think it's kind of a game changer. For most people, I went from being a young guy who didn't really work out too much. I mean, I was in sports and stuff, but now I do a lot more of exercising. This kind of motivates me. It tracks my heart rate. You can actually put your music onto here and then have this connected to here and leave your phone at home. I will be doing a video on that shortly, just because actually, to be honest, it was not exactly easy for me to figure out how to do that. So for a while I was bringing my phone, and then I realized it was slowing me down. So for me, I have the Apple Watch Series 3. I would not recommend the Series 3. This actually has become a very slow device. I would go after the Series 5 or 6. This is swim proof, which means I do bring it everywhere. Yes, I bring it everywhere. I would not recommend bringing this into a hot tub just because of the heat and the battery. But for a pool, it is swim proof. I have a case on here. You guys can see that a little bit. So I have a case just because if you're playing tennis or you're hitting it against a table, it's not going to get hurt. I've had this for over 3 years, and I would say the scratching on here is minimal. I do take pretty good care of it, and I did get the cellular one, although I will admit I've used cellular on this for about a month, and I decided it wasn't worth it, because part of why I think you get an Apple Watch is to maybe get away from your phone. And when I was going on runs and stuff, I found that I would still get notifications, which was the point of having a cellular watch, but then I realized I just didn't like that. So the new ones, you can get cellular on them. I recommend it if you're like a super heavy business person and you like to leave your phone at home but get the necessities on your phone, on your watch. But anyways, guys, Apple Watch Series 3, the PowerBeats Pros, the AirPods Pros, and the MacBook Air M1 chip, and then the Sony WH-C100N. I believe that's the exact model number. Go check all this stuff out, guys. So, guys, last but not least, this is not a commercial. This is just me telling you guys what I put in my box or my backpack, and this happens to be the cheapest thing. And no, I'm not getting paid for this at all. This is only me discussing what I use in my backpack. But I do use the Anker 20-watt nano charger for my phone. If you guys look over here, you can see that the Anker is the same size, if not almost I don't even see a difference really, besides the 5-watt Apple and the 20-watt Anker. So guys, for me personally, I understand that you've probably heard it through the roof about chargers and what to use for your phone, all this stuff. The new phones though, guys, you gotta believe me, if you use a charger that's 20 watts, you're basically looking at a double the speed of the regular charging. These are about 20 bucks, depending on when you get them. They're super fast. It is USB-C, so then the other side you do have to get Lightning if you're an iPhone person. It is Anker. You can get them on Amazon. They went from a fairly small company to someone where they're known very well now. I use it for my iPhone. I actually don't use the slower chargers anymore at all, just because my phone battery is now kind of going bad. So for me personally, getting the charger that charges it quickly offsets the time of me having to wait. So for me, I've noticed that I just can't do the slower charger because it just doesn't make sense. Because I charge my phone basically like 75% through the day, just because I do use a lot of things on my phone. So anyways, guys, the Anker 20-watt nano charger, I will put that into the description. I would recommend that charger if you're looking to take about an hour off your charging. The really impressive part is when it goes from 0 to 50. I did do a review of this on my iPhone 12 Pro, day in the life. 0 to 50 is about 30 minutes. So that's a big deal, guys. So that is it. What's in my tech bag. This is Justin, The Digital Life. I'll see you guys next time.